Hi Scorpio, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Taurus and Scorpios on Tuesdays. Also, the deck that I'm using today is called the Wisdom Seekers Tarot. And as always, if you guys are interested in a personal reading, the link is in the description below. Also, just as a heads up, sometimes the cards like to flip over in the deck. I do see them, however, I usually don't take them unless they jump out like these ones have. And the goal here is to get you guys roughly 8 or 9 cards, and then we can get started on your reading with your overall energy. All right, so I do want to take a moment to remind you guys that if the reading resonates with you guys, the best way to let me know is by leaving a like or a comment. I really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I was saying, your overall energy here is that of the Nine of Pentacles. Now, the Nine of Pentacles talks about powerful independence, right? I like to call it the single and ready to mingle card. And it's a really nice energy to have, especially since when we see it, we know that you're ready for the 10th pentacle, right? And whereas the 10th pentacle is sort of this happy home environment, the 9 of Pentacles is being stable within yourself, within your finances, within every other aspect of your life to where you're ready to move on into this other period of your life. And I feel like that's you right now. I feel like you're very powerful and you're very much in your power in that sense. I do want to take some time and sort of talk about this Chariot in reverse, because the Chariot is a very interesting card. I do want to mention, though, that the Chariot is the sign of Cancer. So some of you guys might be dealing with a Cancer. That's just extra confirmation for some of you guys. It doesn't necessarily have to resonate, but the Chariot oftentimes talks about movement and progression. So going from one aspect or one position to another. Now it's very interesting because this particular Chariot to me feels like those old Roman competitions where they would race. So it's almost as if there's an element of racing here, like competition with someone else. It's very interesting because we have the Queen of Wands here. Now, I do also want to mention that I'm getting a very strange deja vu. So some of you guys might be experiencing deja vu. And it feels very much like you're in this Queen of Wands energy. Very powerful, very fierce, very passionate, very motivated and driven, right? And like, I didn't even notice the significance of the word driven that I just used until I looked at the Chariot again. Like, you literally drive a chariot and you are very driven. So I feel like beyond just the wordplay, there is some significance of that. And it's very interesting here because moving further into your reading, we have the Four of Swords with the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Four of Swords talks about rest, sort of rest and relaxation, recuperation, all that stuff. And the fact that it's in reverse, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's bad like the Nine of Swords in which you're stressed out, you're anxious. The Four of Swords to me in reverse, especially in this particular reading, feels like you're in a period now where you've rested and you're ready to move forward. You're ready to take on whatever life has to throw at you because you've taken this period of preparation to rest and be ready. Like, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you were kind of running on an empty tank for a long time and sort of taking a moment to sort of pull back and let your batteries charge really put you in a better position to really take on whatever life has to throw at you, right? And it's very interesting because we have the Two of Pentacles here as well. Now, the Two of Pentacles talks more so about balance. The fact that it's in reverse leads me to believe that you guys have suffered some kind of injustice or imbalance, or been in some kind of a situation where there was more give or more take than was fair. And I feel like you guys were the one that were negatively impacted by it. And I feel like, in part, the fact that you took this time to sort of rest with this Four of Swords is probably directly related to this Two of Pentacles, in the sense that you took some time to reflect on this and sort of how you operate in whatever kind of scenario it is that you experience this injustice. And I'm getting the impression, like, I'm getting heavy relationship impression, like, energy. I feel like even though you're strongly this Queen of Wands, you possibly give more than you receive, and you're sort of kind of thinking about that. You're kind of stewing on the thought and how to have relationships that are a little bit more balanced, a little bit more Two of Pentacles upright energy. And I do want to see, or rather say, that you have the Eight of Wands and the Seven of Wands here. So I do want to bring attention to the fact that we have the 7 going into the 8, which is progression. And even though they're not all the same suit, we have the 2 to the 3 to the 4, and 7 to 8 to 9. So I'm seeing, like, also even the Knight to the Queen. So we have a lot of connected energy, albeit in a weird way. And I feel like that's kind of like the energy that you guys are in. You're sort of taking a lot of information and a lot of aspects from a lot of different things that may not normally be put together, and you're sort of creating new materials or new approaches based off the information that you take. It's very Temperance and sort of Sagittarian energy, where you're learning, oh, that's another thing, is that the Queen of Pentacles, or rather the Queen of Wands, can talk about fire signs such as Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. So perhaps some of you guys may have something, some heavy fire placement in your chart. Maybe some of you guys have like a Sagittarius Mercury. That's just for some of you though. But I do want to say, back to these cards, the 7 of Wands is the worth fighting for card, and the 8 of Wands is the fast communication card. So I'm seeing that these combinations can go both ways. And the more favorable way, for you guys at least, is that you were in a connection and you realized that the amount of energy that you were putting in and the amount of energy that you were putting back wasn't fair, like this Two of Pentacles. So you decided that this connection wasn't worth fighting for, and you brought communication to a screeching halt. Because the 8 of Wands talks about fast communication, like I mentioned earlier. It's also called the Arrows of Love. So to see it in reverse to me right now feels like, you know, dead communication, perhaps much slower communication, much more dry, less passionate. And that's what I see for sort of scenario number 1. And unfortunately for scenario number 2, I feel like this may be something that has happened to you, right? The other person kind of ghosts you and stops putting in effort and doesn't want to continue the connection. And, you know, that's really shitty for a lot of you guys. But I feel like whatever the case is, you're coming out of it stronger. You're coming out of it very much empowered, because you have the Queen of Wands, like I said earlier, and then you have the 9 of Pentacles as your overall energy. So it's like, it doesn't even matter. I feel like it's just going to be another little footnote at the end of the day. And then you have the Prince of Pentacles, which talks about a new kind of message coming in, some kind of stability. So the 9 of Pentacles, like I was saying earlier, talks about perhaps financial stability as well, among all the other things that you have. And I feel like you may be receiving some kind of message in work, such as a promotion or perhaps a better job offer. But I feel like beyond just that, you guys are facing the possibility of maybe receiving some kind of money. Maybe somebody like Venmos you some amount for your, like, I don't know, you go like camping or something and they're like, here's something for gas, you know. It doesn't necessarily have to be big quantities, but I feel of money, but I feel like it's something that's going to help you out and you're going to be very much appreciated. And this is very interesting because you have the Three of Cups, which to me talks about some kind of reunion. I feel like someone's coming in from out of town, or maybe you're from out of town and you're going to visit somebody, or some kind of reunion. But definitely now is a good time to connect with people. Even if you meet new people, perhaps just like, hey, let's go out to coffee would be a good thing, a good place to start. And you might see, you know, especially if you were in a connection where communication went quiet, like I don't see any particular reason to sort of go back to this person, especially if it's a newer person. Perhaps if you have history, then maybe there is something worth fighting for with the Seven of Wands card. But because it's in reverse, it almost leads me to believe that it was like a one-off connection that you just kind of, things didn't work out. But definitely with this reunion and celebration card, like, you meet new people. Don't be afraid to ask people out for coffee or whatever, because I'm seeing that good things are going to come from it. And whatever it is, I feel like you don't stand to lose anything because you're so independent, because you're so powerful, because you're so comfortable within yourself. But that was your reading first time around, Scorpio. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new Scorpio videos on Tuesdays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings that I have up on the channel. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.